we talked about in class and what I read after and beforehand, the Native American education experience has not been good in America. Overall, it was a lot of assimilation, white supremacy, and religious brainwashing, pretty much, in the American education system in boarding schools, and even today, just going through the education system, the history tests and the history that we learn is not. It's not the true history, true Native American history. So we talked a lot about what happened throughout Native American history and what it feels like to sit in a class and listen to a teacher ramble on about your history and it just not feel true and not be what you know your history is. I can't imagine what that experience would be like, but I can imagine it's very disheartening to see that in school and to feel frustrated hearing that. So what I've read overall, the original tribal Native American education was mostly oral based, and it was passed down from family to family. And education was a village. It was a takes a village type of thing. But I can't say for sure. There's not a lot of information about what it was originally. And then the Americans came in, and there was a lot of religious centered education as we took Native American children from their homes, and I say we, I'm as Americans took Native American children from their homes and proceeded to teach them how to be Americans by giving them new names, forcing them to speak English, and be Christians, which was not their true base. And it was the history between the United States and the Native Americans is really sad and violent and depressing, and we don't learn a lot of the details in school. I remember when I was visiting a charter school, they were learning about Thanksgiving and they were reading the story of Thanksgiving and the Mayflower and the Pilgrims, and it's just like a lot of lies, or a lot of polishing up of the truth. There's not a lot of truth in it. And I feel like if I were Native American and sitting in that classroom and hearing that, I would feel angry, frustrated. I would try to understand why the teacher is not telling me the truth. I'd ask questions, and if I didn't get answers, I would continue to feel frustrated throughout middle school, elementary school, into high school. So we talked a lot about the Native American dropout rate and how high it is in comparison with the Asian and white dropout rate. Although it is similar to the African American and Hispanic dropout rate. And the basis for this was a lot to do with relationship with teachers and frustration in the education system. And I think there is I can understand that. I don't know. I think we do need to find ways to teach a history that really encompasses everyone in America, not just the not just white Americans. We need to talk more about the details of what actually happened in our history, even the more depressing things that we're not so proud of. Like, even we kind of even polish over African American slavery to a point where we don't really talk about the brutality of it that often. Even in high school, even in AP US history, we don't talk as much about the brutality of American history. We talk a lot about white men sitting down, signing things, making this country what it is today, but we don't talk a whole lot about the other part of this country, which is that it was a nation of a bunch of different people combining into one really messed up combination. So it just, we need to find a way to incorporate everyone's history into what is the curriculum today, and that might lead to some less to decreasing the frustration that is there in between certain ethnicities and the education system, so people would feel less discriminated against sitting in class learning about polished over history, if they are learning their true history. And we also talked about vocational training and adding some vocational training to schools. I do think that there is an important aspect to telling children, like, college is important, academics are important, but it's not for everyone. I grew up in a small town, primarily white, but a lot of people lived on farms, and they would drop out of high school to work on the farm, and they just didn't feel that academics were that important. And school didn't talk a lot about agriculture and stuff along those lines, which was not helpful for everyone who lived in that area. But once again, there's no one solution to any problem, and I don't have a solution, but overall I think it's about finding a way that everyone can feel safe in our education system and feel that they deserve to learn here. And yeah, so hopefully in the future we will find a way to make it so education is safe and helpful for everyone who goes into the system, and overall it will be better. Yeah, thank you.